Just an Australian brother, you know, backing you up. So,
thank you, mate.
You know what you need to make you feel a bit better? Maybe cracking into a monster would do that sort of stuff. Because I've got this one I haven't had yet. It's the Ultra Sunrise, so we'll see how it goes. I've liked the first three, just as we get into the draft. But before I take a sip, I'm a little that Geekfam haven't gotten rid of the Timber Saw, but I'm glad that the Queen of Pain is taken out, because Fnatic's the only team that they actually lost both of their games in the BO2 series. They either 1-1'd or 2-0'd everyone else, but they 0-2'd against Fnatic, and that was because of some funky little Queen of Pain 3 Dragon Knight 4 draft that they went, and I just wasn't feeling it.
I mean, it is weird, though. I've got to agree that the Timber Saw hasn't been removed here from Geekfam, and well, Fnatic, they have gone into the first pick Luna, which we did see yesterday, and that didn't work out either up against Neon Esports. A bit surprising they go for that as a first pick. Geekfam, they'll respond with the Shadow Demon Dragon Knight now. Interesting openings.
This better not be a 4 Dragon Knight, that's all I gotta say. It didn't work for them last time. I can kind of understand what they want to do. You know, it acts as like that tanky support, which is like the Clockwork and the Tusk and the Earth Spirit, you know, one that can just stand on the front lines, and he's got innate abilities to obviously reduce a lot of the damage that he takes. And that's what happens when you leave Fnatic the Timber Saw. They never ban it out, because you've always got it in Ice's arsenal.
Yeah, so sometimes they do leave it past the first phase pick stage, but I mean, it's the first day of playoffs. There's no playing around here for Fnatic. They are taking everything seriously, and of course, Timber Saw would be taken by Ice.
10 seconds.
You pick that into a Dragon Knight as well. Like, it's Ice is gonna have a great old time getting through the Dragon Knight. The armor just doesn't matter. HP doesn't matter. I'm curious to whether Geekfam thought Fnatic would leave that till the second pick phase, but they clearly haven't. They've just picked it up now.
Yeah, just picked it up now. It's perfectly fine, right? It just basically means that you need to now go a core on Geekfam that's able to move through the jungle and make something happen there, because once that Timber Saw reaches that level 5, you can essentially just stand underneath the tower, you can tack up a creep wave, and there's no way that they're going to kill you, especially if they go this Dragon Knight 4. It kind of puts a spanner in the works there, because not the highest damage dealing, it's really just for that tanky frontliner and initiation if they were running it as a support, which I hope they don't.
Well, we're going to find out soon enough. I'm sure they won't. I'm sure they'll give it to Carl, or maybe they'll let Cuckoo play it in the off lane. Hopefully it won't be the pos 4, but we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Maybe you don't want to run the core DK into a Timber Saw, though. Maybe that's the idea, right? Like, at least if it's a pos 4, it's not as important if it dies, maybe? I'm not sure. Like, seems like Ice is going to get through that DK so easily. Timber, that's my concern here for Geekfam.
Yeah, and it's one of the advantages of having that first pick as well, right? It means that obviously you get the highest priority hero that you want in the entire pool, but you also get to counter their first phase picks with your second pick. So it's really influential to be able to do that, and with a hero that Fnatic has. I mean, they're just good at every hero, basically, in the game. There are very few heroes that they just ban out completely. Lycan is one of them, Batrider's the other one, and that's basically it, you know. Beastmaster a little bit as well, so a little surprised that that's made its way through. But
I wouldn't be shocked to see if they Geekfam went for that as well. Like, with the DK, does seem like kind of just adds on this crazy amount of push, and I believe they've run it before. In fact, if I remember correctly, there was a point where they ran offlane DK mid BM, and it actually worked out quite well. I remember there was a mid Beastmaster sometime. We'll see, I guess. Geekfam, this third pickup now. Okay, the Bane. So just control, I guess, in a pos 5.
Yeah, and control with a pos 5, this means that the Shadow Demon will most likely be going that pos 4, unless it's going to be some weird Thompson-style Shadow Demon mid that they might be trying to go, but I don't think so. We saw with Fnatic the other day that they went with a DJ Shadow Demon, and it really didn't work for them. He needs to be much more of that frontlining playmaker, and I feel like Zephyr is a bit less of that. He's obviously... Cuckoo is a very flashy style of player, so they're happy to give him more of the, you know, crazy plays, the clippable moments, that sort of stuff, and it's really what he thrives off, and you want to be supporting the mentality of your players as well.
Right. It seems as though Fnatic now, they're going to go into the Tiny pickup, which I believe that may be the DJ hero this time around. That pos 4 role. You never know, they could run a core Tiny, we have seen that as well. But the DJ Tiny could be something spectacular to watch here with Fnatic. Geekfam, they won't falter too long, they go into a gyrocopter, which you're going to have to explain this one to me, I have no clue what.
I guess it's just being able to deal a lot of magic damage early on to a Timbersaw before he's able to tank up. Try and get some early kills. Bane does a decent amount of damage as well through the Brain Sap. You can tank up a lot of the aggression that Timber might be trying to throw at you. It wouldn't even surprise me if they try and tri-lane this super early on, just to get that first blood and maybe enable that snowball through from Raven.
Those are good points. I suppose that all makes sense. I just kind of question whether the Gyrocopter is a good enough hero in this current meta. It seems really weak in comparison to other POS 1s right now. Now you've got a Storm there. Although you've got some decent control for the Storm, it just feels like another hero that can just jump on the Gyrocopter and just try to burst him down before he has that BKB up.
I mean, it's kind of ironic, right? Like, with a Gyrocopter, you kind of want to be next to a lot of heroes so that you can be doing damage through that rocket barrage, as well as the flak cannon and everything else that you've got in your arsenal. But at this point, Fnatic have 3 heroes that are very happy to just dive that Gyro, and he's not the tankiest, of course, especially pre-Ags and, you know, the Mask of... the lifesteal that you might want to get. I don't think he'll go on Mask of Madness, but if you can get a Satanic and just have an Ag Scepter, it doesn't really matter too much if you're getting Chain CC'd, because you're always going to have that side gunner doing some damage. I don't think Fnatic are going to let it get to that late.
It's going to be an interesting one, Geekfam. I guess this last pick kind of reveals what the idea is here with this draft. I gotta say, when I look at Fnatic's draft in comparison, it does really make me feel quite a lot more confident. It just, I don't know, that Gyrocopter just doesn't make me feel very good, Dan. I'm not a big fan. I'd like to be proved differently, though.
I mean, the big issue for me is, where is the initiation coming from Geekfam right now? You can say, sure, we're going to give it on to a Dragon Knight and a Blink Dagger, but it takes a while for him to farm that up.
True, that is very true. That's where I was going to go with that, but you are correct. It is going to take a bit of time. I guess maybe the Shadow Demon Disruption, if you'd call that initiation, it's not really great.
I'd say that's much more counter-initiation, especially against this Storm Spirit Tiny combo, right?
Right. In that case, Geekfam may be looking for perhaps an off-lane pick, perhaps another mid pick here for Carl, something that can initiate. Fnatic, don't ban out the Viper. Sorry about that.
That's all good. It's my ringtone as well.
Well, it's everyone's ringtone, isn't it? That would be the Viper being banned out.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Fanatic's turn to pick. Dire team pick.
Witch Doctor.
Dire team pick.
Maybe this final pick is where it's at.
Trying to think of what could potentially work here. I guess Spirit might be okay for them.
I
It's
wouldn't
damage
mind it.
against Timber. You could get on top of a Witch Doctor pretty quickly. You can dodge
10
casks. You
seconds
can.
remaining.
Like Luna doesn't have the greatest amount of HP, so if you get in on top of her, it's alright. And even if you try and get tiny comboed, there's small gaps in between the avalanche where you can actually astral step out of it, so you're not going to get full comboed.
That could be the pick that does, it does seem nice. It still feels like you have initiation now, but I don't know about their team fight potential. Like, it's so single target, right, on Geekfam. Okay.
Select your heroes.
You weren't wrong. The Void Spirit does come out for Carl. That should be in the mid lane. Which means you've got the off lane DK, the safe lane Gyrocopter, of course. Overall, you look at both drafts there, though. Do you think Geekfam has what it takes with this draft?
Nope. I think I'm just going straight out and saying Fanatic from the get-go. I like the fact that they got Isis Timbersaw, great. The fact that you can save your position 5 until the last pick and still be really happy with how the draft has turned out, great. And they've also got the recency bias, I suppose, with that 2-0 victory only a couple of days ago against Geekfam. So we'll see if they're able to take it out in game 1. It is a best of 3 now, now that we are in the playoffs, but this is the upper bracket, so it's not a do or die situation just yet for these two teams, but win takes you all the way.
Yeah, that is a nice position to be in. Well, we'll see which team can make it happen. Of course, after this series, we'll be doing 2 lower bracket runs as well. The round 1 of the lower bracket will be on straight after this series. We've got 2 more best of 3 straight after, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that'll be a Droid versus Reality Rift and a rematch from yesterday with TNC coming up against T1. So I'm pretty hyped for that. But we've got an upper bracket game in for ourselves. I think Fnatic have got it. How about you, MLP?
I'd have to agree. But I'm not going to underestimate Geekfam, right? I'm going to wait till the game starts. We'll see what happens. I do agree with you just based on draft, though, that Fnatic's draft just looks better. I never doubt the Isis Timber. Then again, though, the Savage Luna me a bit, like, we saw it yesterday. It wasn't great. Well, maybe it was just the game itself that was the problem.
I mean, the problem for me is this taunt that he's going to keep spamming out. I think it's the worst taunt in the entire game. It's like some not call it 8-bit, but it's some like reject shopped level taunt with the audio coming out from it.
See, that's what I said as well. How is that the most expensive taunt in the game right now? It just doesn't make any sense. Oh well, we'll live with it. Good to see both teams mooing their hearts out as well.
See you later, nerds.
So Fnatic are going to try and set up this, maybe a top first blood here at that first bounty room. Do have DJ scouting around there on the tiny, trying to see if anyone's going to run down, but nobody's hanging around there from Geekfam. Everyone's just prepared to go for the bottom bounties instead, so it looks like they won't really interact with each other quite yet. I guess maybe you could have gone after Carl in that mid lane DK, but he's also backing off now.
Yeah, and we could see both of the supports were down on the bottom side of the map previously. We're just doing some observer ward scouting right now on Whitemon. Ensure that it's not on the right side of the tier 1 tower mid. Give a potential bit of information that it is going to be on the left. It's yeah, very passive start to the game. 2 bounty runes from each side.
That it is. I was a bit surprised though, I must admit. I thought it was going to be a mid Void Spirit, but Cuckoo takes it. He's in the off-lane Void Spirit, which is quite interesting to me. You think this is the way to play it? Because you are going to be lacking a lot less levels in farm, I'd say, on this Void Spirit.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit of an issue. And, well, I suppose it is that sort of flashy style that he does like to play, so it can work in that way. If they were going for this, though, I'm a little surprised they didn't change the lanes up a little bit. Maybe throw Cuckoo into that Timber source so that you can, again, do a lot of that magic damage to him.
Yeah, absolutely. They're even running a bit of a tri lane right now at that bot lane. It's like they will finally TP up, so Butler does go up top.
He makes that rotation, wanting to take as much advantage, like we were thinking before, of Ice before he hits onto that that level 2 or level 3 and is able to move around a little bit. But it's going to be tough, given that DJ is pulled through this creep wave behind the tier 1 tower. Much done onto him as they can, though.
Now that they are, a lot of damage. Ice, can you survive? No, you cannot. That's the way to play up against the Timbersaw, right? Those early levels, you've got to go at him fast.
Absolutely.
It's a good start there for Geekfam. Having a look at that mid lane as well, you'll see Carl up against Moon on that Storm, but that should be a much more even kind of trading lane, I'd say. Neither one should die too early on Moon, though. Pulling ahead on the Storm thus far. Carl actually falling a little bit behind. Should be able to catch up fairly soon now. I do get a little bit afraid again for Geekfam when you think about Moonstorm, though. He quite scary on this hero if he's given too much space.
Yeah, scary if given a lot of space, and none of their stuns are instant. You know, everything. Well, Void Spirit's in a bit of trouble actually on this bot side. He's maledicted up.
Pace down. Does he pop out? No, he'll be fine for now. I believe he should survive through the rest of the damage. Tango will regen him up, but he does bring a Salva now on the courier. That's the thing as well, that offlane Void Spirit, it's kind of like you can't secure farm safely. You've got a Witch Doctor there with the Luna, so they've got plenty of damage to pump out. And every time Cuckoo gets close, this happens. Paralyzing cast with Lucid Beams. This time they don't have the Melodic. In fact, they can try and turn around now. Jabs, he could be in trouble. They will get the Aether Remnant to lock him in with the Resonant Pulse, and Jabs will end up dying. Savage still trying to go up there for Zephyr, but he may have overextended. He will back off.
Yeah, he'll be fine. They wanted to make sure they got that extra use of the Shadow Poison off on Zephyr, and maybe punishing this a little bit by the Witch Doctor, the fact that he's gone into a Circlet instead of getting that Magic Stick, realizing that it is a position for Zephyr.
Not today.
Now, Fanatic in the bot lane makes just want to slow down a bit in terms of aggression. They will go for that clarity cancellation there onto Zephyr, at least with the Coconut. Top lane Ice. Looks like he's reached level 3 now, so he's kind of getting to that point where he's not going to be as killable in that top lane. Moon gets Carl's courier.
Yeah, he doesn't mind that much. We can see DJ, he's rotated down towards this bottom side. They're going for a kill onto Cuckoo.
They are. Avalanche going to be out with the Melodic. Down the toss back onto Cuckoo. Savage going to be a little bit careful with all that Shadow Poison. No, Zephyr. He needs 1 or 2 more. He can't get it, and now DJ, he's going to chase him down. They have the Lucid Beam. Zephyr should be dead here, or maybe not. Do they have anything to throw out? DJ, no mana for a toss, we'll just have to let the kill go, and Zephyr will barely survive, but Cuckoo does end up going down in that Void Spirit.
Yeah, the mana to be able to follow up on that one with DJ, but you know, we saw the power of that ability to rotate, right? As soon as Ice is level 3, suddenly he can get an extra 12 stacks of armor, which is just insane, and he's not worried about dying in the same way as he did at level 1.
Absolutely not. They're going to try again onto Savage though. Savage going to be falling low at Luna. He'll be alright. He'll barely I say that, the illusions were still chasing, but he is going to be okay. Zephyr? Maybe not though. Does get tossed up in the air. DJ does secure the kill, and now, well, Cuckoo, he's going to try and harass out DJ a little bit, but ultimately we'll just kind of be stuck in leaving him alone. And I hate to point it out that Cuckoo's still level 3.
Is. Got a nice toss coming through there from Jabs.
Melody not being used. They'll leave him be. He'll run away again, but you're basically the same level as this Tiny almost. DJ's almost level 3. Jabs is over leveling or out leveling Cuckoo.
What happens when you get a whole bunch of kills, even with a little bit of a tri-lane going on in your lane, and yeah, it just feels like Cuckoo's being pressured out a little bit. That's why I was a little surprised with the fact that this Void Spirit was being put into this offlane. You know, you don't have the inherent tankiness. You don't want to build into the Dissimilate early on because it doesn't help all too much in the form of farming. You don't have the mana pool to be able to cast 3 different spells at that stage of the game, and yeah, you're just not tanky like a Dragon Knight is, where you can just stand in the middle of a wave.
could be disastrous for them later on if he can't catch up here on this Void Spirit. He's still just struggling. He's got a creep wave by the tier 1 tower now at least. Meanwhile, mid, Moon is trying to dish out some damage here onto Carl. We are having DJ also rotate in. Which I believe, yeah, Carl can't actually see this. DJ is still out of vision. But this could be a nice easy kill there onto Carl. I don't believe you have enough of the avalanche toss yet.
No, just one. I mean, he could, you can see he's maybe going for the rune, hoping he's going to luck out with something, and that's why DJ's in the space as well. I think maybe with this space, it's unfortunate that he doesn't see DJ, but the best he can probably do is use his magic stick, breathe fire, and just run back underneath the tower if he can.
I suppose so. See if he can survive this. I wonder what DJ does though. Like, what do you opt for? If you only are left with one ability, do you just toss back or do you avalanche?
It depends who you're going up against. I think the fact that it is Cuckoo, yeah, he's trying for that movement back. He's going to use the Dragon Tail instead, so perfectly fine as well, but in the this Moon's going to be able to grab this bottle up Invis rune, and well, we start to see some rotations coming through shortly. No, they actually give it over to DJ instead.
I like that. They give him the Invis. He has now enough mana for the Avalanche Toss combo, and he's waiting around mid again.
But they saw that happen. That's the thing. With this Observer Ward, he saw that that bottle exchange was going on, and so he could play, oh sorry, Carl could play a little bit more defensively.
Well, that's problematic now for DJ. We'll see if he can find a way in. I don't think the level 1 Avalanche Toss is going to be enough anyway. This regen way too much HP, but now the Vortex comes in, DJ will show himself, but the Dragon Tail is there.
Nice Dragon Tail.
The coconut, and yeah, DJ, he may just be dead here. They're trying to get vision with the Shadow Poison. DJ's still trying to make a run for it. Wyman on the chase, trying to get that Nightmare off. Can he get in range? Not quite. DJ will be on the run.
He's pretty speedy with those Tranquil Boots. Nice job to actually interrupt the regen and the speed from them by Whitemon, but going to be able to catch this guy.
I really don't either. Avalanche now, there just seems no way they can actually get him. And he'll just keep wasting time. Meanwhile, mid lane, Carl is going down to Moon, although Moon does have to back off because he was underneath that tier 1 tower, and now Zephyr is going to rotate in. But DJ's TP'd out of there. He's gone. He's back down to the bot lane now.
I'm liking this pressure being put onto Moon though by Zephyr, in a similar way to the Timber Saw being pretty self-sustainable. You feel like Gyrocopter is too. He's not in too much danger of dying. He can always last hit from a relatively safe range, and the skill build that he's got is pretty versatile.
Cuckoo though, bot lane. He ends up dying again. He's 4 mark on the Void Spirit. DJ just making the rotation down after escaping the top lane. I do agree with you. I do like the pressure there on some Moon. That is who they appear to be focusing on, but their side lanes may not be working out that well right now if this keeps up.
The fact that they were able to protect this DD rune is enormous. You can tell that Moon would be wanting to make some sort of rotation go on at that time. He might even still do it, you know, he's walking all the way back to base, he's going to refill up his bottle. Could just come straight back to mid because he's got the support duo of DJ and Jab sitting right here with him, and Ice making the rotation through as well.
Yeah, he's level 7, so he'll run in. Whiteman will go for the Nightmare, but they just toss Ice back in onto Whiteman.
Even Savage is here.
Escape. Yeah, he's probably going to go down. Whiteman trying to go for the Roshan, denied, but no. Ice will get the kill. Now Vortex through the mid lane. Carl, he pops the DD, but he already had got it going. It just didn't matter. Trying to harass up with that Dragon Tail and the Dragon Form. It's a lot of damage, but it will not be anywhere near enough. And with that, Fanatic will just secure 1 kill, and looks like they're going to try and push him that mid lane.
That DD coming through pretty impactful, but as we were saying, all of Fnatic rotated through to try and make something happen there, and at the end of the day, it was only Whitemon that ended up going down, and all that time Cuckoo had been stuffed for farm, but he's had about 2 creep waves. He's pushed the wave into the tower, so they're going to lose some valuable experience up here, and even the Gyrocopter is just sitting in the jungle the entire time, taking up these stacks, so bam, they've lucked out a little bit.
I'd say so. Net worth going up quite nicely for Raven. Going straight to that Aghanim Scepter build and see if you can keep that up. Farm that is.
They haven't even made the rotation through yet to contest one of these outposts. Geekfam are going to get both.
Uh-oh. That's problematic as well here for Fnatic. What are they, Well, they're prioritizing the tier 1 towers right now, but I'd have to say that XP is going to be pretty darn important here for the side of Fnatic. I'm not sure if you could really afford to give that away. Geekfam desperately needed the XP, they'll take it. Fnatic just don't seem to care.
I feel like they should. I mean, now Cuckoo's very close to picking up his level 7. He's getting a few of these. Oh, nice, getting Bounty Rune as well. They're diving Zephyr underneath the tier 1 tower, but I think it's fine. You know, you're creating some space for your team. You're trying to push it out a little bit. It forces Savage back, and that extra 15 seconds can mean a lot, although they've got the siege creep here. I wonder if they're trying to make a play to defend this top side.
Tower is under attack.
They may. That smoke, I'm not sure if this is a good idea here for Raven though. With Whiteman coming in, Moon, he's going to be the target. They'll put the Nightmare on top. He does have mana to zip away, but the stun is going to be there immediately now with the cooldown and the Aether of Moon. He may just drop the dance, but Raven will die as well. Now Cuckoo's jumped in, going after Jabs, a great astral step, but Whiteman's falling low. Savage, he's just trying to survive, but no, disruption's there from Zephyr. It was a great rotation out from Geekfam. They do lose Raven, but a 1-for-3 trade. You can't complain about that.
Absolutely not. And even there, the Cuckoo rotation able to make a lot of work. He's only got the 2 points into the Resonant Pulse because he was having such a hard time in the lane that he just had to make sure he at least secured those range creeps.
Of course. Ice, however, mid lane is going to go ahead and take down that T1 tower. No real contestation there for him. I guess that's the one positive for Fnatic now, is they did get that very, very valuable mid-tier 1, and the top tier 1 for that matter. Whereas if you look at the Geekfam, they haven't actually gotten 1 tower yet. I suppose Carl is now setting up on that DK down at the bot lane, to try and start forcing that tower in a little bit. But DJ is going to be there to defend this.
He is, and well, as we were expecting, we could see Raven, he's building up into that Ag Scepter early on. It's 12 minutes and he's already half the way there, so doing a decent job. Getting some assistance from his team with these stacks, and he's in clear first position on that net worth, even farming the mid lane at the same time as this neutral camp. Nice efficiency there.
That it was. That it was. He'll definitely have the Ags up soon. Bot lane, however, Geekfam, they're grouping up once again. Cuckoo's got the double damage. We do see Ice just straight TPing into all of them within vision. Carl will try and fight back now. Ice doesn't really have... Oh, he does have a lot of reactive armor, in fact. Never mind that. He's just going to tank this creep wave, try and defend this tier 1 tower. You've still got DJ around the corner. They're going to jump in there with Cuckoo, but Cuckoo has to be careful. It's a lot of damage up. Avalanche toss is there. Ice still not going to go down, just running away. But the coconut out from Jabs will follow Cuckoo down on Moon. He has enough vision now to secure the kill on the Void Spirit and to zip out of there.
They're still sticking around on Geekfam.
Yeah, Avalanche toss there with the melody from the Carl. They'll put a cooldown down, but now the death ward out from Jabs, forcing the Nightmare off onto Carl, but now Raven could be in trouble.
Oh, the coconut!
Again, disruption is just in the nick of time. Carl's just about to fall across. It will be enough there from DJ. Now Raven goes down as well. Seven's trying to run, but I don't think he's going anywhere. He's being blocked up by DJ. He's just trying to farm while he can. He knows he's not going anywhere. There we go. Bounty's achieved as well. They'll keep going though. Aether Remnant is out on DJ on that tiny, but he's fine. They're just going to walk out.
Yeah, perfectly happy with it. And throughout most of that, Savage was farming away. So similar to what happened previously, you had all of Fnatic come to the mid lane and two of Geekfam were farming. That time around, they even lost the team fight in a 5v4 situation. So disaster stations right now for Geekfam.
That they are. Savage going straight for that mantle, going to have it up fairly soon at this rate. That Gyro cop for the Ags. It'll be soon. It's a bit delayed for sure. He's just doing the same thing, farming that neutral camp plus mid lane. There is a thing with the Gyro though, right, where you need so much more farm than just the Ags. Like, we're talking BKB, we're talking Satanic, it gets kind of ridiculous how many items this hero needs to be effective.
Yeah, but I like the fact that it does enable that acceleration of farm, and like we were saying before, even if you do get full combo together with a Witch Doctor stun, Spirit stun, a Tiny Toss combo, if you've got that lifesteal with the Ags, you can at least lifesteal back a little bit of damage, especially if you get that flat cannon off beforehand.
That is true. Raven Keep farming up some ancients and more neutral cats. I believe he will have the gold player ads in just a second.
Yeah, with bounties as well, he'll definitely secure. Ice, he's going for a bit of a play here.
Aether, I'm not going to latch him in though, and yeah, he won't be able to take the bounty off Cuckoo there on the Void Spirit. They'll just kind of go back again. There's that edge we talked about on Raven. So whether they make a smoke rotation now, perhaps, and they will.
It's not terrible timing, you know, 15 minutes is perfectly okay for the way that this game has gone. It's just, will they be able to do anything with it? Unfortunately, they're not going to catch out Savage while he's low, farming down on this bottom side of the map. It's been very defensive so far.
They'll find out. That's not really the target they want, but they're just going to have to take it. He just stands there, just looks at it in the eye while they're taking it down. Bot lane, Ice has been split pushing though, so that may force Geekfam to try and react to this. Well, I guess if you are Fanatic, you don't really care that Jab's just died like that.
Yeah, and there's really not much they can do against Ice doing this as well, right? He's got the siege creep, so he's made the timing really effectively. And, you know, you can toss a couple of shadow poisons there, Zephyr, but you're just going to farm for yourself. You're not actually going to prevent anything from happening.
Exactly what does happen. Ice now. He's just going to TP up top. He's going for a blade mail on that timber, just trying to be a real menace in this game, and the rest of Fnatic, they get smoked up.
Oh, Raven.
Straight into Raven. Blink is already there from DJ. Avalanche Cross as well. Raven, can you survive this? He will get the rock barrage off, but it will be nowhere near enough. Jabs will be the one to secure the kill there on the Witch Doctor. So that's kind of how you get a smoke done as well. You find the Pulse 1. It's the most valuable target they could have asked for.
And even with Ice, with that rotation up, he was still able to get efficiency out of the map, he was still able to farm it up, but he could have joined at any time just by a simple Timberjane or two.
I'm just forcing that tier 2 tower now. He's got the blade mail up just on the courier. No one to defend the tier 2 as of yet. Geekfam, they're just going to try and force down that tier 1 bot tower. But this draft may be falling apart a little bit for Geekfam, just considering how behind they are in objectives right now in comparison. That was their first tier 1 with the DK.
And you can tell that they're anxious to definitely take it, you know, popping the Elder Dragon form for a tower that's only at 10% or so. They were just so worried about the TPs coming through because the matter is, Fnatic is so much stronger at them, at least before this Gyrocopter picks up his BKB and some lifesteal for himself.
Fnatic, they've smoked up again. Smoke will be broken. Lyman will be the one to break it, but they might be surrounded. He's going to simulate now. Avalanche there from DJ. Lyman is going to try and walk off, but there's no way out of this. Does get tossed out back into Ice. Smoke chaining away. Be another nice kill, and they will take back their outpost.
Top tower is under attack.
Geekfam is still kind of sticking around. No, it looks like Cuckoo was just picking up a haste string. He'll be fine. Walk out of there. I'm just not sure if this is good enough from Geekfam. Like, Savage is still farming really well as well, that Luna.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Whitemon picks up this Philosopher's Stone. He spent an entire death timer there with it just sitting in the base. There we go, finally picks it up. So, missed some of that passive gold during death, but now he's going to be able to get a bit closer to, I suppose, Glimmer Cape. You know, it's going to get to a point where Moon isn't going to be able to carry that dust, and Ice won't want to either. So, if you're able to get off a save in that way, pretty damn effective.
Absolutely. This stage, like, what do you think Geekfam need to be doing? It seems as though, you know, Raven's obviously just trying to secure farm on that Gyrocopter. That's fair enough, but the rest of the team just seems a little lost in what they're trying to achieve here. Like, Carl's in the mid lane trying to maybe push out that creep wave and pop the dragon form again. There's just no confidence right now. They don't feel it.
Interested in why he's gone into the 2 points in the Dissimulate. I suppose it's a big increase in damage for this Void Spirit, but with all this aggression that Fnatic's been putting at you, I feel like the Resonant Pulse is the way to go, just to get that additional little bit of damage absorption. And he's got the Imp Claw as well, so you want to be able to do a lot of pop damage, basically, with that Astral Step. Found him.
Does zip in, and it's like, what the hell is this? I zip back up. It was a bit of a fright there for the Storm Spirit, but he found everyone. Now they get started.
The Void Spirit.
DJ, Cuckoo, Nightmare going to be broken. He'll be fine to just get out of there himself. Looks like they'll just go back to securing farm on the map. Fnatic, they're in no rush. That was another smoke being kind of ruined there for Geekfam. And unfortunately with that as well, they lose pretty much every bounty rune if Moon wanted to go up top and get the rest. He's not for now, but no, he is. He's zipping it.
Whitemon's on a bit of a mission for him, but he might pay for it.
He may. And Moon will take that. So 4 bounty runes as well to Fnatic now, and that increases their net worth lead up towards that 7.5k mark.
Stupendous!
Getting a bit ridiculous now. Like with Geekfam, you'd say they kind of want to be ahead in their farm with this kind of draft, but it's just not the case.
Yeah, no, not just yet, and you have to feel bad for poor Whitemon. It feels like he's getting caught out at the start of every single team fight. He's putting himself in some good positions to be able to, you know, tank up some smoke ganks, but because of that, and having to play so defensively, he's had to put more points into the Nightmare, where I feel like the Enfeeble would be really effective when you've got this Gyrocopter Void Spirit core combination.
Yeah, especially for that Timbersaw. You wouldn't mind seeing that, but he has not put 1 point in yet. No value at all. So Fnatic, they'll defend that top T1 with Ice. DJ's gonna rotate back down to the mid lane. They're just waiting for another opening here from Geekfam, who are trying not to give one away. Yeah. So Carl's just trying to secure that BKB before going any further on this Dragon Knight.
It's the BKB on him as well as Raven. They should get it at a pretty similar timing though, so we can essentially clump it everyone up and making sure that can happen. It's never good though when you've got your position 1 and 2 walking down towards the same lane to try and get the same farm.
No, that it is not. That's just giving the rest of the map away to Fnatic. Ice. He's gonna have going for a talisman of evasion. So I'm guessing he's working towards maybe the halberd now. Fly it out. Savage. He's gonna jump into that Roshan.
1 BKB's done. And 2 are done and on its way out. So, and they actually scan out the Roshan. So this could be a huge fight for Geekfam if they're able to take advantage of it. Although BKB finished up on 23 Savage right now. Power of information though. Will they know that this has happened?
Gonna blink in, going straight after Jazz. That Witch Doctor gonna be the first target. So nice punch away from DJ, but not nice enough. They will lose the Witch Doctor. He'll buy back. Now Moon zips out onto Whiteman. That Bane falling very low. It does go down as well as Zephyr, also losing his life. Now where do they go though? Cuckoo gets DJ. It's a 3v3 situation. Eclipse has been popped there from Savage, but he's not feeling confident with those BKBs up. Ice. He'll try to go after Cuckoo, but everyone is now backing off just slowly but surely. And now Moon looking to zip back in after the BKBs, but they have gotten out. So it looks like it's time to go back to the Roshan.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent team fight for Geekfam, being able to dodge out a lot of these big ultimates coming through from Fnatic, as well as expending the buyback on jabs, but they just don't have the mana pool on Cuckoo to make another go at it. And, so they're going to give up the Roshan anyway. A bit unfortunate, but I think a neutral trade for them, despite losing Roshan, isn't the worst thing that could have come out of that.
Absolutely not. It increases their net worth now to 8k as Ice. Gonna start diving into that behind that tier 2 tower and seeing what he can see. Start forcing down that tier 2 tower if they can. Especially with this Aegis on Moon, you're gonna be feeling very, very confident.
They found out Timbersaw here, but that's probably the hero that you're happiest to have on the front lines.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the Nightmare Fiend's Grip available right now. They're just trying to buy their time to get through it without that. Ice is still alive. There's the Fiend's Grip coming out, so now you can take him out. And Fnatic just never really jumped in. But here comes Moon. He wants to get started with that Ice. Avalanche Toss there. Carl just forced the BKB now. And they'll just continue going after that tier 2 mid tower. They just seem unfazed by the Timbersaw dying. Yeah,
I mean, they're expending a ton of PKBs. That's already 2 used on Raven as well as Carl, so It's only the one so far used by Savage. No, he actually hasn't even used it once. So you're going to have the Roshan Aegis as well as the just overall teamfight effectiveness. That extra 2 seconds adds up in a big way, especially once you hit these later timings.
Absolutely. And Geekfam now he's giving pressure to try and make something happen on their end of things again. We've got the Yules up now on Cuckoo, so at least you've got some setup there for that 8th remnant. Raven's still trying to work towards that Satanic and then Butterfly.
They found him.
Uh-oh. Moon doesn't want to lose the Aegis like this. They don't have the Fiend script though. Should just allow Moon to zip out.
It was a optimistic attempt there, just wanting to get the Shadow Demon Disruption perfectly comboed together with the homing missile, but you need to be some next level player for that to happen.
Well, DJ has the Yules up now as well. They're going to smoke up there with Savage. Savage looks to try and bait for his team, it seems. You mentioned as well, he does have that 10-second BKB charge, so plenty of time on that.
Make an aggressive play there. They get out right now on Geekfam, and they do, so that's good. But he dropped the call down, and now that it's not a 50-second cooldown, it's up to 90. They're trying to make stuff happen in the mid lane, and they do pick off Cuckoo. They've even got this creep wave pushing in. Tier 2 tower's going to go down.
It's just so easy for Fanatic right now, especially on the back of Moon, who can just set up for them every time. Yeah, Tier 2 tower gone. Double damage.
Got a DD. Yeah, Aegis, level 18, picked up with that Cuckoo kill as well.
Uh-oh. Aegis go high ground now. Carl trying to run away. Do they jump in? DJ, he does get the toss off. Carl will be forced to BKB once again. It is a defensive BKB, and Moon says, screw it, I'm zipping in. He goes straight after Zephyr. Nightmare gonna save for a bit, but Zephyr should ultimately die here, although no, he's not yet. Moon's run out of mana, but eyesight science. He will secure the kill on that Timber. And now the toss back again from DJ.
He doesn't have BKB.
He does not have BKB. The Eclipse does come in. He does buy back straight after. In fact, it was Zephyr who bought back. They do get DJ on the Tiny. Eyesight side. Just standing there taking all this damage from the gyrocopter. Making sure Savage gets out, and now Moon zipping back in, still holding on to that Aegis. He is out of mana. Cuckoo is almost out of HP. Can't afford to die. He just bought that. He'll get out of there.
And it just shows a little bit of the impact of using that call down in a farming capacity. Maybe it's a bit of muscle memory coming through from Raven just saying, oh yeah, I could toss it out and then walk back. It's just being a bit more efficient, which he's shown throughout this game. But when they were pushing up onto that tier 3 tower, he didn't have it for 20 seconds. And so again, 23 Savage is able to get out without using a BKB once. And on this DK, it's down to 7 seconds. On the gyro, it's down to 7 seconds. It's not looking good for Geekfam.
No, it really isn't. Raven now is going to spot out Savage down to that bot lane, but he's not going to be feeling too comfortable being here, or really shouldn't. Going to send a homing missile out. He'll make a bit of a chase actually, but eventually does give up on it. So he's just going to work towards that Eye of Skadi instead of going for that Satanic Butterfly now on that gyrocopter. I'm just not sure if that's going to make all the difference here. Like it helps you deal with the Timbersaw for sure, but apart from that, whether it's really good or not, whether it's going to make the difference, that's where I'm kind of concerned here for Geekfam.
I guess he just wants to be able to live for that little bit longer. He's nearly reached his level 20, so he's going to get some extra movement speed to be able to reposition in these team fights.
Could be.
Accelerate his farm a little bit further, I suppose. Oh, he's actually going the rocket barrage damage. He wants to stand and fight.
Why not? So you've got to fight at some point. We are almost 30 minutes into the game. Maybe
Paladin
that's
Sword's real handy.
That it is. One of the most broken tier 3 item you can find. However, Zephyr, Glimmer Cape, trying to run away, does go for a quick disrupt there onto Moon, and on the way out, Moon will back off as well. You don't have that Aegis available on Moon, it never really got used up. Just fight over time, and they may just wait for the next Roshan to try and make any form of high ground play and just continue just dominating the map. They are heading down bot lane with this 12k net worth lead to try and pick somebody off on Moon, zipping in. He needs to get in that tree line. 1 TP cancellation, Cuckoo. He couldn't get out in time. The avalanche toss is there. You don't quite find Raven, but you found something just as good. And now Savage goes into the mid lane after Carl. He has a Satanic up on the Luna. He's picking out as well. He wants help. They just don't have the mana to zip in.
No, and that's the thing as well. With 23 Savage, he's happy to just stand here and fight. He's got a Satanic available.
DJ did jump in. Now Moon also going to come in. Zephyr, he's in big trouble. He will go down. A decent cooldown, however, with the beam trip down to Moon. We'll take down the Storm. Carl, can you survive? He can. But how do you get Raven out of here? Wyman will definitely die on the Bane. One Nightmare should do it. Raven is out. The rest of Fnatic won't bother trying to chase the harder target. Geekfam, they did find that mid-storm, but they lost 3 of their own in the process.
And it just shows you the effectiveness of that first BKB usage coming out from 23 Savage. He also had it comboed together with the level 20 that he picked up, so there was the threat of the Eclipse damage coming through. Pretty scary right now if you're on Geekfam. They're just constantly playing on the back foot. You can see here Cuckoo, he's 6 levels behind Ice 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 just because of constantly playing inside his side of the map.
Been rough for Cuckoo, that's for sure. That mid-tier 3 tower now going to be under siege here. Savage is feeling very confident with that Satanic. Does get jumped on, but Cuckoo is just... He's blocking. He's not going to jump all the way. Just chipping away at that HP pool.
DJ's looking to make that sacrificial play again. Jump in onto the backlines, toss him back into him, but doesn't need to. They're able to just siege down that tier 3 on their own.
Absolutely, and there's no reason to stick around now. You know the Roshan should be coming up sometime soon. They'll just place a quick bounty off onto Raven's head before they do leave, and well, that Roshan, we find it in 1 second when it's going to be up, and it is it's 2.5 minutes. It's going to be a while.
Acquired a Tome of Knowledge onto our DK here, so he's hoping to reach up into his level 20, maybe just for a bit of additional survivability for himself. He's definitely playing in that way, or at least he used to, with that Dragon Scale being held, but want to lose the benefits of that Orb of Destruction that was previously on the Gyrocopter. This is keen. This is keen.
Yeah. Last comes out, DJ. He did actually find him. No, they blink away. Carl, he went on to Moon. Now the Secret once again, but Moon, he is actually just fine. The Secret did nothing. Now Whiteman will go down. Raven also going to be in trouble. He'll just try and TP out of there with the BKB and will be successful in doing so. We'll keep zipping in. Ice 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 giving the vision over. They'll miss out on Zephyr. Now Carl trying to turn it around.
Fight. They've still got this Elder Dragon form. They found the Storm Spirit, but it's only Carl doing the damage.
Yeah, Moon, he barely gets out of there alive. Comes up going down on the Shadow Demon, and now Savage does secure the kill onto Cuckoo with Moose and Beam. And, well, it's onto the mid-racks. Buybacks are flying out now from Geekfam, but those glaives really do rip into the racks quite quick. Link in, a quick Moose and Beam out from Savage, that was fast. They do try and go onto Ice Ice Ice. He is so tanky, however. That Eclipse is doing so much damage, and poor old Cuckoo is going to die back immediately. They still try to go onto that Luna, but he just doesn't care. In fact, maybe he does now. And Iron Scotty kind of being a bit disruptive with his lifesteal, though. Great heals off onto the DK. What are these reaction times? Carl, he's stuck up now. He's trying to get out of there. A great nightmare out from Wyman onto DJ, not allowing the toss back. Zephyr jumping back in, has to be very, very careful. Rax's arms still falling. Now Zephyr's getting jumped on Moon. He's got the control. He will get the kill. They go back in. Raven, Heaven's Harbor, not allowing him to actually keep attacking this other team. Call down.
They could kill Storm.
They could. They do. Moon does die to the brain sap. In fact, it was just Raven with the auto attacks. Ice 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 now being Nightman up. Fnatic gonna find a way out of this situation. Or maybe they just go back in.
Yeah, I don't think you're killing Ice Ice Ice, especially without that Shadow Demon and the Soul Catcher.
Why not? Just go ahead, clean up the racks, and it's time to back off now. But Savage has just bought himself a nice brand new Aghanim Scepter.
I mean, yeah, you just toss it onto the Timbersaw, right, and have him dive into the base.
One way to do it. Well, now Fnatic, they're in a 19k net worth lead at 34 minutes in. It's kind of getting seemingly impossible for Geekfam to catch up here. We might need to see something big like a Divine Rapier on this gyro.
We might. He's got it queued up as well as the Butterfly, so still in two minds somewhat about what he's going to go. Might look to pitch now if he wants to be really ballsy about it, and I suppose just wanting to hold that buyback.
Perhaps you are going to need it, of course. Whether the buyback means anything though when you come back is a different story.
Is under attack.
Just he's not hitting hard enough. But well, both teams they are going to fight over that Roshan. It is up. They're going after that T1 mid. Nice just going to dive in by himself. He's going to be slightly careful. Here comes DJ. So a lot of damage off onto Carl. Now the feed script by side.
He's still alive.
He is still alive. And Cuckoo is just trying to run away now. On that Void Spirit, the Savage is on the chase. They'll nightmare him up. Now here comes Moon after Zephyr. No, he wants Raven. He'll force out the BKB. Still going forward. Trying to find another support. He will get Whiteman. Zephyr and Whiteman are both going to go down. And that Roshan should be free for Fnatic to take now.
They finally got off a pretty decent Fiend script, but again, it just shows how unfortunate it is not having that Glimmer Cape against this sort of lineup. Able to, from pretty safe range, just use the single Lucent Beam, and suddenly your ultimate is ruined by something that has a 2.5 second cooldown.
It's a problem. It is a real problem. It's going to be an even bigger problem now that Aegis is going to be up.
Is under attack.
I believe Moon will be taking it again on the Storm.
I think you should take the cheese as well, honestly. 23 Savage doesn't need anything like that to continue surviving through this. No, they actually give it to him.
Well, okay, so Savage with the Aegis, Moon takes the cheese. That's interesting. I thought Moon was just the obvious candidate there for the Aegis, but they seem to just want to give it to Savage. Well, Ice doesn't seem quite either way. He's already started pushing out top lane. He doesn't really have much mana, but he has enough regen to just sustain himself with those greetings as well.
And they've kept this siege creep alive as well, even with the Guardian creeps being used to make sure it survives for that little bit longer. Gonna do a little bit, but it's enough.
Repair kit is there. They are still whacking away at that tier 3. They don't care about the repair kit.
Talk about impactful tier 3 items, that's one of them.
That it definitely is. There is going to be a mana shot for Zephyr. Zip in from Moon. Who are we going for? It's in the backline. Carl jumped in. So did Cuckoo. But nobody dies quite yet. In fact, there was Jam that did die. But he'll buy back. And now the Eclipse with the ads being thrown out there from Savage. It is not doing that much, but it is zoning them out. And so that top Rax is going to be in trouble as we do have an unfortunate pause going on. I see a Dragon Tail stun being thrown out there onto the Storm, so Moon has been stunned up now.
Yes, and it's that position, so it's not too bad. 3.25 seconds, although, again, they need to be a little bit careful. This time around, Whitemon, he has his Glimmer Cape available, but it's another 6 seconds on cooldown, so I'm thinking they'll want to wait before he throws out that Fiend's Grip. Basically the only way. You gotta CC Moon from 100 to 0 right now.
Oh, they do get Moon. That is a great start. Cuckoo still falling low. Fiend Grip is going to be there onto Ice. Nobody cancelling it, so he can just channel the full duration. He does barely get all of it off. He does finally get Lucent Beam with DM, and now Savage. He's going to get the Aegis down. He is surrounded. Savage. They keep going to himself, has to take panic up, doesn't have the BKB though, and will die.
I mean, that's why you keep the Aegis over your Storm Spirit, right? If he doesn't die, then suddenly they don't have that complete control over the team fight. And, I mean, I don't think the Luna got 100 to 0, right? He has the status resistance coming through from Satanic, just inherent more tanky, having a Talisman of Evasion, HP than the Storm, and so I feel like a cheese is much more viable on something like that.
I would agree 100%. I think Moon definitely should have had that Aegis, that team fight, but won't matter now. I guess you've still got the cheese with your Moon, so ultimately you get more value for that Storm now. So Whiteman's going to try and take an outpost there up the top lane, but TJ's just not going to allow it. Fuels him up, he's got the avalanche in a couple seconds. Wouldn't toss it this time. Saves the avalanche. They're all just tipping Whiteman, who's still trying to go for this. He gives up now. I think he's learned his lesson.
Feels the Observer Ward though, so that's nice and handy.
Oh goodness me. Alright, so Geekfam, I mean, they dropped a bit of a net worth advantage. It's about 5k going back the way of Geekfam, but they are 14k still ahead. Whether they feel confident enough to go back to the high ground without that Aegis is a different story entirely, but I don't really recommend waiting. Because Raven is now apparently farming up that Divine Rapier.
Let's go, baby. That's what we want to see. I mean, they've the skin of their teeth and items coming out here. That Spell Prism is going to be real handy for the Geekfam lineup. I wonder if it's going to be given to... say? Maybe Zephyr.
Either way, like, even both supports and Cuckoo would probably enjoy that quite a bit.
You can see Whitemon, his priority right now is do not die. He's got the Witless Shaco in combination together with his Bracer, and yeah, I don't mind it. He's getting focused down is a big priority in these team fights.
No, he definitely is. Meanwhile, Timeless Relic goes out to the to Ice. Wonder if he even bothers using that. Like, he's got the Witless Shaco himself. We'll find out soon. He's going high ground again. Savage right behind him. Got the Glaives. Make quick for
Oh, he's going to grab this DD, which is really nice on Cuckoo.
That he does, but he needs to get back and defend. I believe, unless they just accept that it's going down. In fact, they'll find the range rats, and that'll be it, Fanatic. They won't risk any further. They will end up backing off.
Doesn't TP back yet. He really wants to farm up this Ag Scepter. He feels like this is the thing that's going to turn the team fight around. Nervous though. You've got this Moon Storm Spirit farming right underneath a Dire Observer ward, so careful.
He has to be.
Blessings upon a loyal warrior.
Yeah, instant zip.
Cuckoo. You alright? We'll just get himself out of that situation. Savage has now got the butterfly up, by the way, on the Luna. Going for an Eye of Scuddy himself straight after. I don't believe you have any way to get through that butterfly for Raven. In fact, I thought he may just rush the Divine at this rate, but he's actually going for that Satanic on the Gyro. Went for the Reavers instead of just going for the Sacred Relic.
I think it's okay. Again, status resistance, super important for this Gyrocopter to stop him from being chain stunned up. Yeah, as soon as you can get off a couple of these actives that you're holding on for yourself, the call down does a ton of damage. You can just get off a flak cannon. It can make you survive, and you know, eventually, same principle as the BKB, right? Oh, sorry, team fight about to happen. Raven needs to be careful.
He gets jumped on. DJ, oh, it's a lot of damage from that equip. Savage just blowing them up. Raven used the BKB, but it's already gone. Yules goes in. He's into the control of this Gyro. They try to save him, but it looks like he's dying here. So Nightmare Raven enough, but he does. Ooh, he gets his stoppage still very low. Finally does go down. No buyback available. And now DJ looking for another toss-back target. He does get one. It is going to be Cuckoo. He'll dissimulate, trying to astral step away, and does get away with it. But now Moon, Zippy going to get on that storm. Going straight after Whiteman. The poor Bane, he's had a rough game. He's not going to get him. They will get him with the coconuts. It's a lot of damage up from Zephyr and Cuckoo, but it's not quite enough. Now Kyle will be chased down on the DK. They do disrupt him up, but he's certain to die here. As Ice has the control, and they will get him right in front of that fountain. 3 heroes down without buyback, and I believe you'd call that GG.
I believe so too. As long as this Luna's still alive, you're just going to rip through the base, and they even take out the poor Mango Tree to end the game. So some good execution from Fnatic, but yeah, you just can't let that Timber Saw through, because even though it might not have made this huge impact in team fights, it's just the laning stage and opening up the map so much more for the rest of your team that allowed them to get that early advantage. I think it was like an 8k lead or something like that at around the 15-20 minute mark, and in this meta, it's just too much to overcome.